At the beginning of the story, we see some officers bringing two minor boys silently through the water route. The names of these boys are Erling and Even. Both of them are about to reach Bestroy. So the jail's warden Bester hands over the responsibility of these boys to another prisoner named Olak, so that they maintain discipline during their punishment. Olak has completed 6 years in jail, and after 3 weeks he will be free. After the two boys enter the jail, instructor tells them the rules and regulations. They also have to change their personal belongings. After this, both of them are given different batch numbers, their hair is cut, and they are given prison clothes. The warden then goes to his cabin to give a special warning to prisoner C-19, i.e., Erling, because he has come to know that a murder case has been imposed on Erling, whereas the others have committed minor crimes. Buster makes him understand by giving an example, saying, "I am the captain of this prison, and all of you prisoners are its nucleus who will follow my orders." After Erling leaves, we see a woman named Astrid, who is not happy with the arrival of an accused like Erling. The next day, all the prisoners are made to stand in line. The instructions are excellent. Some are assigned to washing utensils, some to cooking, some to painting walls, and others to applying medicine to the fields. Erling is given the job of cleaning the bathroom, and Olak is sent to help him. While working, Olak understands Erling's attitude and realizes that he will definitely try to escape. He advises him that anyone who has tried to escape from this place has either died or been sentenced to life imprisonment, urging him not to make a decision that will ruin his life. However, Erling does not care because he believes he was sent here without any fault and wants to get free as soon as possible. While working, Erling notices a hut and asks Olak about its owner. Olak tells him that a boat is kept there for emergencies. Erling does not believe her words, so to confirm, he goes near the boathouse from where the boat is visible. He also sees Astrid walking with her dog. After Astrid leaves, a security guard notices Erling and assumes he is trying to escape, so as punishment, he is hit on the hand. When all the prisoners go to sleep, a prisoner named Mark starts shouting 30 to 30 because his watch has disappeared. Hearing the noise, Buster arrives and, without thinking, beats another boy, even though he had not stolen Mark's watch. In fact, Mark's own watch was kept on his bed. Erling knew this, so when he goes to the bathroom, he sees Mark there and beats him to take revenge for what happened that night. During the day, Erling reads out the letter he had written for his girlfriend to Olak, and they become good friends. The next day, when Erling insults the instructor during the assembly, he is punished and shifted to another place. When he returns, he finds Mark reading his letter in front of everyone. In anger, Erling teases him, and Olak intervenes to separate them. As punishment, the three of them are sent to the forest to cut wood for making food for the prisoners. While working, Mark sits down and Erling starts talking to him. After a day of hard work, they are given old meat to eat. Erling and Mark, who initially did not get along, start talking happily. Erling deliberately breaks the blade of the tree cutter and hides it in the guard, keeping it with him to break the lock of the boathouse. As the days pass, the friendship between the three grows. One day, their duty is changed, and they are sent to the fields to harvest wheat. Olak learns that Erling is planning to escape, so he warns him to stay quiet until his sentence is over, as Erling's actions could have consequences for him too. If Erling succeeds in escaping, Olak will also suffer the consequences. While everyone is busy working, one boy deliberately cuts his hand with a knife. Olak and Erling take him to the hospital, where they find and steal the key from the hospital. After this, when night falls, Mark and Erling eat poisonous mushrooms brought from the jungle, which causes them to experience severe stomach pain and start vomiting. Due to the noise, all the prisoners wake up. Seeing their condition, they are immediately sent to the hospital. After treatment, when the nurses leave the room, Erling tries to wake Mark, but he does not regain consciousness due to the drug, so Erling leaves alone. However, Evan sees him doing this. When Erling cuts the lock on the door of the boathouse, Evan arrives and tells him that the jail's instructor commits obscene acts with him, which is why he also does not want to stay there. He insists on leaving with Erling, but Erling refuses. In anger, Evan goes to the jail's instructor to tell the truth, but out of fear, he says nothing. However, the instructor notices the mud on Evan's feet and realizes he has been to the sea. He soon learns that Erling is missing from the hospital, so he immediately sounds the siren to alert everyone and rushes to the boathouse with the security, but it is too late. Erling has already fled with the boat. The next day, during the assembly, Bester announces that Erling is a coward who has not atoned for his sins. He assures everyone that his army will catch Erling and bring him back. For a while, there is no news of Erling, and life for the prisoners returns to normal. Suddenly, one day, all the prisoners see the army capturing Erling and bringing him back. The instructor and Olak are very disappointed because Olak had been responsible for Erling. Olak is forced to whip Erling until his back bleeds, an act he must perform against his will. Despite their punishment, Erling remains unaffected, still thinking of escaping. One day, Olak complains to the warden, Buster, about the instructor, revealing that he has been committing obscene acts with Evan every night. However, Buster does not believe him and warns Olak not to tell anyone about this. The next day, when Buster goes to the ward to confirm, Evan, out of fear, says nothing. Evan, knowing about Erling's escape plan, is punished by being sent to cut wood in the forest. While working, the jail inspector notices that Evan is having trouble breathing. Distressed by the harassment, Evan decides to end his life and heads to the sea. Meanwhile, Erling learns while eating that Evan has given his watch to someone else, which makes him realize that something is wrong. Erling runs to the sea and sees Evan drowning. Erling and Olak together pull Evan out of the water, but it is too late. Evan has died. Bester forbids all the prisoners from going near Evan's body and sends them back to their cells. He then goes to the sleeping hall and forces all the prisoners to obey. Evan was a weak boy who could not endure the harsh punishment and lost the courage to live, taking his own life. Olak and Erling are deeply saddened by Evan's death because they know the real reason behind it, his suffering at the hands of the instructor. During a meal, Erling insults the instructor and leaves. By now, all the prisoners know about what happened, and they are angry, expressing their rage. When Bester is in his office, Erling reports to him about Evan's suffering. Bester then confronts the instructor and warns him about the serious consequences of his actions. He says that if the matter reaches the government, the instructor could face life imprisonment. However, the instructor is unfazed and instead threatens Bester, stating that if anything happens to him, he will reveal how Bester embezzled money from the jail's funds meant for reforming the minor prisoners. Both men are corrupt and engage in fraud. In the next scene, the instructor decides to leave the jail for a while to let the matter settle and things cool down. Seeing him go, the prisoners feel relieved, hoping he will never return and that a new instructor will take his place. This year, as usual, a team from the Central Prison Committee arrives at the jail for inspection. After reviewing reports and evaluating the prisoners, the Central Committee plans to inspect all the prisoners one by one. The interview is conducted, and the prisoners are asked about the incidents in the jail. When Olak is interviewed, he initially tells the truth, but when asked about the details of Evan's death, he lies. Nevertheless, Olak is ordered to be released after a week due to good behavior. As he is leaving the jail with his bag, he sees the instructor. Overcome with anger, he attacks him without thinking. Erling and Mark join in to help him, but other officers prevent the instructor from beating Olak. After a scuffle, all three are beaten and tied up in a cage inside a tank. That night, Erling tries to open the cage but fails. The next day, he manages to get the door open by tricking the guard with his words, but without the key, he cannot get out. On the second day, when the instructor comes to meet them, the three boys wait for him to approach the wall near the door. As soon as he comes close, they grab him and snatch the cellar key from him. However, during the struggle, Olak injures his leg. After freeing themselves from the cellar, the three go after the instructor to kill him. Witnessing their actions, the other prisoners gain courage and join them. Together, they start attacking the guards and storm the kitchen, taking all the food and drinks that the government had sent but never provided to them. They kill the guards one by one and eventually reach and kill the instructor. The jail's warden, Bester, is terrified by the prisoners' unity and tries to flee to save his life. When he attempts to escape, the prisoners capture him. Erling arrives and decides to spare Brester's life, escorting him out to the boat. The prisoners now take control of the prison and decide to live freely. However, this newfound freedom is short-lived, as officers from the jail department, along with a large army, arrive the next day to arrest the boys. When Erling spots the approaching ship full of soldiers, the soldiers land on the island. Chaos ensues as the prisoners panic, realizing that the soldiers outnumber them. The soldiers begin capturing the boys one by one. Amidst the confusion, Erling, Olak, and Mark manage to escape toward the forest. While running, Erling spots a deer, realizing it must have come from the shoreline where there is ice. The three head toward the lake. Mark, noticing that the soldiers are close, runs in another direction to distract them so Erling and Olak can escape. Olak, with an injured leg, struggles to run. Erling carries him on his shoulders and continues moving forward. They reach the lake and carefully cross the thin layer of ice, moving slowly to avoid breaking it. Olak manages to cross quickly, but Erling's pace is too fast, causing him to slip and fall into the freezing water. Olak tries desperately to pull him up, but Erling's body is half frozen from the icy water, making it impossible for him to climb out. With a heavy heart, Olak is forced to leave Erling behind and finally escapes. In the final scene, Olak is seen on a sea ship, signifying that he has made it out. As for Erling, who had always dreamed of escaping, his luck ran out at the last moment, and he perished. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.